What is this? All gas, no brakes. Andrew Callaghan responds to sexual misconduct claims. Says the alleged victim asked for money. Just boot up Valo. Gold soon. A legal rep for the journalist tells TMZ Andrew is devastated. He's being accused of any type of physical or mental coercion against anyone. Conversations about pressure and consent are extremely important, and Andrew wants to have these conversations so we can continue to learn and grow. Adding, while every dynamic is open to interpretation and proper communication is critical for those involved, repeated requests for money should not be part of these conversations. For those of you unaware, Andrew started getting heat on TikTok after a woman named Caroline Elise recounted an alleged incident between her and Andrew, claiming he got her consent to sleep together by wearing her down. A source with direct knowledge tells us Caroline requested money from Andrew, referencing the fat check he got from HBO for his documentary. She allegedly asked to be paid just minutes before the doc aired. We're told Andrew didn't pay up, and Caroline uploaded the TikTok a few days later, urging others to come forward, which is exactly what happened. Okay, here's the issue. Here's the issue. This is super PR-y for me. No, Look. I did not mention the first allegation as much because ultimately more people came forward, okay? And if you recall, in my coverage of the matter, I spoke mostly about the second accusation that was not really left up to a moment of not really left up to like, oh, I gave consent, but I didn't think that consent had happened. What? Hasan, you treated Kai worse for not being involved and you were treating Andrew who actually did that shit? No, I'm not. I was very, very fucking open with my commentary on this issue. You are out of your mind. Perhaps you did not pay attention, or perhaps you just want to, flip something out here. It's not up to interpretation. Andrew's trying to pin the PR on the first accuser. Yeah, that's the reality. The reality is that more people came out, okay? More people came out, and the second accusation was like very clear cut. I do believe that Andrew has evidence for this, what he's stating here. I don't know if you saw since I missed your coverage, but Ethan spoke to Andrew and he's in a psych ward. I guess Andrew said it happened. I, at the very least, got great. There's extortion. No. And it's not like the way that this is presented. Chowder said the acne is because he's horny. Wait, what? Andrew confirmed everything these girls said was true, so I don't know why he's bringing her up asking for money. So, Ethan and Andrew spoke. I did not speak to Andrew directly. Okay? But Ethan and Andrew spoke. And basically, as Ethan also stated, that Andrew pretty much confirmed that that this happened. But additionally also showed text messages, if I am aware, if I have all the information, text messages from the first person saying, you and I had a relationship that I originally I don't consider to be sexual assault, something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. However, I'm still traumatized from my past sexual assaults, which are real, and that that is the reason why now that you got a fat bag from HBO, you could potentially pay for my therapy. Okay? And if you want to pay for my therapy, here's my Venmo or whatever. Here's my PayPal. But it does not matter because while this first person who came up with the accusation might have been on like a gray area or might have felt that way, the second person and multiple other people that have come forward, but especially the second person that came forward and talked about it was like very clear cut. Now, the reason why I did not bring this up personally, is because the other allegations came out afterwards. Okay? That's it. The other allegations that came up afterwards kind of completely negate the first person that came up, even if it was literally to be like, well, fuck you. Okay? Can you finish your sentence completely? Just say all the other accusations are clearly assault? No, the second allegation is a clear-cut example of assault. Okay? The one from the other person, not this person. The other girl who talked about the car incident described sexual assault, not sex pestering. You can't grab a person's hand and shove it down your pants, especially after they said no repeatedly. That's just criminal assault. That's it. It's true. One of your mods were telling you about something Keem clip chimp during the Ethan and Andrew's convo. What's the path to reformation for behavior like this? We don't have to talk about that right now. That's like too soon to talk about. Ultimately, Andrew has not talked about anything other than basically this TMZ component here, which not great, especially because like there's more accusations, and then a lot of things that are in the a lot of things that are out there in the space. And what I mean by that is, basically is that there are so many fucking random like third party, fourth party, oh, a friend of a friend told me that he's bad type of conversations. And that stuff is enough for a lot of people. Okay? It's like, oh, I'll write him off immediately. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay? None of those things are, in my opinion, relevant like the first-hand account, okay? First-hand account of the first person, which is why when I saw, not the first person, sorry, the second person, which is why when I saw the first-hand account of the first person, when they compiled a list of like other people being like, he's creepy, he's gross, he's had sex with like people who live with their parents, which implies that they are definitely underage. Like that sort of shit is completely irrelevant, and it literally sidesteps away from the main point of contention. Okay? Not only that, but in my opinion, it literally, unless someone is like hypersensitive to these sorts of things, which we know in a patriarchal society, people are not, right? People don't immediately run to believe victims, no matter how much right-wing people claim that, everyone's believing women unconditionally. Let's be real. That doesn't happen. Okay? That doesn't happen. Which is part of the reason why when you put like, he thought the clitoris was in a vagina, or a friend of a friend knows the camera guy for Channel 5, and he said he slept with young people that live with their parents, which means they're definitely underage. Like, that sort of shit muddies the water, and I think is gross and irresponsible. Okay? Straight up. The underage stuff is unconfirmed. They just said they looked in. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's not even firsthand or even secondhand information. And it just comes across as petty. Okay? Your logic equals adults living with their parents are underage. No, that's not my logic. That's the logic of the fucking weird shit. Not defending the sex space, but not all men are like this, or am I dumb fuck? What? So Andrew's now trying to backtrack what he said to Ethan and said she just wanted money. No, I think that he basically is, this is more so like a substantiation of the things that happened. Okay? No mention of the second person that came out with a direct first-hand account, which I think is like the most valid and most important one to address. Okay? And instead saying the first person was like basically on a fishing expedition because they had like a scenario where they revoked consent and said that said that Andrew was pestering them, and then asked me for money. Asked Andrew for money. But it's most likely probably just like, I mean, I don't know. St. Florida, in which Callaghan coerced her into sex acts after repeatedly refusing his advances. Her account appears to have inspired at least one other to come forward with their own stories about him. Yeah. And the problem in a situation like this, which I personally consider to be a very delicate matter, a very serious matter, is that when the accusation, the first accusation can be like undermined, especially if they have personally asked for money or therapy or the like, no matter what, and mentioned that like Andrew made a lot of money off of their fat HBO documentary or whatever the fuck, then all of a sudden, no one is gonna think about any of the other instances, and potentially no one is going to look at like the second person who has a direct account. Okay. It didn't undermine it though. Yeah, it didn't undermine it in your eyes, but in the eyes of like the overarching people who are rushing and excited at the prospect of, once again, saying, oh, this person is like probably lying or whatever, they're not going to think about it twice. This is a very, it's, of course it's going to undermine. You're so crazy, man. I'm sorry. Like, dude, come on, man. Come on. Like, you have to be in a fucking little bubble of delusion if you think that like the first person coming out about like a situation where they felt like they were worn down into consent, okay, which is already like broaching the territory of is this like the new era of considering boundaries, okay? But even on top of that, if they've like also asked for money, like then you're fucking, you're delusional to think that like most people aren't going to jump to saying like, oh, this person just made this up because they are this person made this up because they're just fucking looking at it as a financial component. People literally undermine victims, like straight up rape victims who have been horrifically and violently raped, that go out and get fucking tests done. What are you talking about? They don't even need someone to behave in a manner that like comes across suspicious or anything like that. You can be quote unquote the perfect victim when the expectations are so fucking high, right? Incredibly high, unnecessarily high bar to clear for making an accusation. Even when you fucking clear it, people go, "Oh yeah, dude, you're a liar." Like, I don't care. You're a woman. You show your titties on the internet. You deserved it. That sort of thing. We saw it. We saw it with what happened. Anyway, I talked about this already in full detail. But if you were wondering, uh, you know, if you were wondering what my assessment was, I think that they are not really talking about the other accusation, the second accusation, which is a direct, clear-cut instance of violating people's personal space and personal boundaries, especially after they have numerous attempts of telling them no. It will absolutely be used to say that women who accuse men of rape are actually just having buyer's remorse after consensual sex as well. Yeah. the random grapevine rumors are true, we will hear more. Maybe not. Because if the random grapevine rumors are true, maybe we'll hear more. Not necessarily, because now you will see a wave of people. You will see a wave of people to go, there it is. This person asked for money. They are literally, yeah. They're literally fucking, they're all of the accusations are fake. Especially because the first person that came out with their story, okay, no matter what the truth is on their story, and I do believe their story. I do believe that they originally did not want to offer consent potentially, and they were both drunk, and that Andrew pestered her, and then she ultimately said yes, okay? I do believe that story. But the way that she went about it, okay? The way that she went about it after, literally, one, asking money for therapy, including mentioning, the HBO show, and then also piling together TikTok comments to say there's a lot of other people out there, is giving so much ammo to people that are going to be in the margins looking at this story. Not like the fucking men's rights activists who already are going to undermine any victim no matter what, okay? But also on top of that, it's going to undermine other victims that have come forward, and it's going to stop, most likely, because when you see the fucking backlash, it's going to most likely stop anyone else from coming forward in general. She's not the perfect victim, who cares? I think you have to understand a certain thing here that I'm trying to explain to you, okay? My expectation is not that someone has to be a perfect victim, okay? I don't have that expectation. But when what you are talking about, okay, is not clear cut, and it's like pestering, nagging, which still can be defined as sexual assault, okay, or coercive, like getting sex under coercive conditions, okay, which is still unethical in the eyes of the broader majority, but the people in the margins, in the eyes of the rational people that are in the fucking margins, okay? And I'm not talking about fucking men's rights activists. I'm talking about normal people who hear about the story are still going to go, wait a minute, that's weird. But then they hear other people, okay? When they hear other people come out and they go, oh, wait, okay, this makes sense now. But if the person who is coming out with this has also asked for money, and it said that it wasn't, I didn't think it was sexual assault at the time, and has recently asked for money, then all of a sudden that becomes an entirely different conversation that undermines everyone else that came out with their own accusations. Because then people are going to jump to that and pile everything under that same category of people who are just looking for money. Okay? That's it. It's not that the timing of the the timing of the accusation isn't weird, okay? One can feel like we saw with the Andrew Tate conversation when we were talking about Andrew Tate. One can feel more upset because they see the person that has harmed them gaining prominence and feel like they want to fucking signal to everyone else like they need to stop doing this. Okay? That's one thing. All right? That's an understandable thing. But when you're also asking potentially for money, for therapy, or for money in general, that becomes an entirely different subject matter other than just signaling to other people and trying to get the truth out and trying to stop this person from engaging in these sorts of actions over and over again. Okay? That's it. I agree, but also because of proximity to Andrew, your criticism is not the most appropriate at the moment. Yeah, well, my proximity to Andrew is completely unimportant considering that I have already covered this and I already talked about what I think is completely fucking inappropriate. Okay. Andrew's actions are inappropriate. There is no bias in this matter. I think Andrew's actions are inappropriate. And I said that very, very clearly. Clear cut. Like, what would have happened if he was like, sure, I'll give you money? I also despise when people fucking ask me what my like personal feelings on the matter are. When one, I've already talked about my personal feelings on the matter. And two, my personal feelings, as you can see from this quote from the time I originally covered it, are unrelated to the matter at hand. What matters is reframing the conversation around victims, getting some form of restitution. And what matters is, having someone who is responsible for these sorts of actions to recognize what they've done and never do it again, okay? And engage in restitution. That's it. It's so fucking stupid that people cannot comprehend anything. People cannot comprehend anything beyond like their own parasocial lens of covering all matter of content. You're just in it for a gotcha moment. You want to catch me being hypocritical or something in your mind because you think I have something that is like hypocritical, okay? It's so fucking weird. Anyway. No matter what you say, people will say your coverage is biased. Honestly, you did yourself a massive disservice by not playing the whole video out the first time you covered it because it added much credibility to what you were saying in that moment. Yeah, I know. I mean, people have tried to fucking claim that I was like banning people. Those people are not interested in the truth. Those people are not interested in like the victims. Those people are not interested in anything. They're just gross drama farmers. It's disgusting. Okay? I did not do anything wrong, in my opinion. People were reaching for such aggressive things that they were literally trying to be like, oh, this guy, they timed me out. When it's like literally Fossabot timing someone out for spamming the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean? Being like, I got banned. Okay, well, like I'm not involved in this in any way, shape, or form. I've given it a fair assessment, just like anything else. We're not going to watch that interrogation vid tonight. No, we're going to watch Joe Schmo. We're going to move on to greener pastures. Didn't you also set up Fossa to time out people if they brought it up? No, I did not set it up. My moderators most likely did. And they did it because they do it with everything from Andrew all the way to like, I don't know, Kevin McCarthy. Because people routinely fucking pester and chat becomes unmanageable. Okay? That's why. It has nothing to do with like Andrew personally. It happens with a multitude of different... They just did it today for Joe Schmo.